Welcome to Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help educate you about narcissistic abuse because your feelings do matter. Hi, and welcome to another podcast of Narc Abuse No More with your host, Dr. and Evangelist K.O. Rich. Thanks for tuning in today. Today is Monday, July the 17th of 2023. I pray that you have had a blessed, stress-free, narcissistic-free, abuse-free week so far, and that the remainder of this week will continue to be so as well. But if not, we're going to be talking about a few things today. Again, my name is Dr. K.O. Rich with Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help you admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse, because your feelings do matter. Yes, they do. But before we go on with today's podcast, I'd like to invite you to visit us on our website at www.narcabusenomore.org. Again, that website address is www.narcabusenomore.org. And on our website, you'll find valuable information regarding narcissism, relationships, and if you have missed any of these podcasts, all you have to do is go directly to our website and listen to us from there. Now, just to let you know, we are on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central, and that is on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, iTunes, Castbox, and Deezer. We're also on Amazon Audible, Rumble, Brighteon, and the Tube. That's right, we're on YouTube. So you have a variety of different platforms that you can listen to us from. But if all else fail, all you have to do is go directly to our website at www.narcabusenomore.org. Also, if you're in the Georgia area and if you are in need of counseling, you can also give us go to the website, send us an email or whatever from there, a message from there, and then we can be able to do counseling with you. All right, what are we talking about today? We are talking about low self-esteem, moving from low self-esteem to confidence, moving from low self-esteem to confidence. One of the reasons that many people get involved in toxic relationships is they don't know their value. They don't have a sense of self-worth, know their worth. And so therefore we're going to talk about that today, because it is so important for you to know your worth. That's right. And when you don't know your worth, then you allow people to treat you any kind of way. You allow them to walk all over you. You will allow them to use you as a walking mat. They will feel as if they can do anything and everything to you because you don't know your worth. And I've said this, used this analogy before. When you have, for example, if you have a Lexus, well, the Lexus dealer, they know their worth. So you're not going to find them hardly where you're able to get parts for a Lexus at maybe a Ford store or something of that matter. You'd have to know your worth. I've often mentioned about Chanel, okay? And Chanel is a signature perfume or a signature company. And when women hear the name Chanel, you're thinking of high end, you're thinking of quality, you're thinking of they've been in business for years, so they are a veteran in the business in a sense. You're thinking of high end, and you're not going to think about something that may be on the cheaper end, where you're going to find maybe in your local Walmart or something of that nature. So you have to know your worth. If you're worth $1 million, then don't find yourself on sale at a discount store. All right, you have to know your worth. Many people, you should be in for as a high end like Chanel type of department, but you're finding yourself in the sense at a Dollar Tree or something of that nature. So you will not find Chanel perfume at the Dollar Tree. That you will find maybe an imitation, but you will not find your high quality, your high end Chanel number fives or whatever at the Dollar Tree. All right, so this is what I'm saying. You have to understand your value, understand your worth, know that you deserve to be treated with dignity, respect, admiration, and love, and not in the sense of the narcissistic, toxic individual where it's all about me, 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 I. We're talking about in the healthy sense. So today we're going to be dealing with 11 signs of low self-esteem. As always, I love to give you a website where you can get this valuable information from. And today is coming from www.verywellmind.com, www.verywellmind.com. And then we're also going to be taking some information from www.futurelearn.com. And I love to give you information that you can go and do your own research when you have time, if you're able to, in order to get this valuable information. So when it comes to low self-esteem, you're talking about a person who has again a sense, they don't have a good sense of value about themselves. They have a low opinion of themselves. They don't have a sense of identity. They don't feel competent in their abilities. They don't feel as if they belong to anything, or they don't have a sense of belonging. You will find that sometimes these people are often, especially when you're dealing with kids, they often stay off to themselves for fear of people making fun of them. They might be the awkward person in the room when it comes to just not really being confident in themselves. I know that when I was a kid, I didn't have any high self-esteem at all. I felt ugly. I was told I was ugly as a kid. You know, kids, oh, they so ugly, you so ugly, blah blah blah. And I was the ugly duckling in the room. I always made fun of. Didn't have the latest shoes and clothes, and I would get teased a lot in school, and so it affected my self-esteem. You know, my hair it wouldn't grow long. It was, it was thick, but it wasn't straight, short. It was shorter on the spectrum compared to some girls, but I really didn't have any self-esteem when I was in school, and even leading up to high school. It was just really wasn't there. And so it's so important, if you are a parent, to really try to build up your kids' self-esteem, because a lot of times they're dealing with issues that they don't even talk about to their parents. You might not even know that they're being teased at school, made fun of. And I know this saying, when we were kids, we used to say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never harm me. Well, guess what? Words do harm. And oftentimes words do so much damage that it carries over. It can carry over into when that person is an adult, where they still don't have a sense of worth. So we don't want to use that phrase even when it comes to kids. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Well, at the time when they're going through these things, it does matter, but we want to try to help them to build up mechanisms of for us knowing their value. See, it's so important to know your value, and when you know your value, then you don't allow anyone to devalue you because of their own opinion. So if you are a person who's dealing with this, then it's so important, if you're a parent, to deal with your own self-esteem issues so that it won't carry over into your children, and then you'll be able to help them face whatever they may be facing, even if they're not saying anything. A lot of times children will go through things in school and they won't even tell their parents about it. So we're going to talk about low self-esteem today. And oftentimes people will get in relationships that they know, or that they know that these relationships are not healthy, but we have gotten into these relationships because You may have said, you know what, this is the best that I can do, or no one else is going to want me, no one else is going to love me. And when you're dealing with an abuser, they will take advantage of that. They will take advantage of the fact that you feel that you can't do any better than them. So you will hear them say sometimes, well, no one else is going to love you like I do, and promise me, I promise you that is a promise that I would want you to keep, is that if you are abusive, then no, I don't want anyone to love me like you do, because guess what? Your type of love is abusive, all right? So you don't want to be a magnet for those who are toxic, for those who are abusive. But when you have low self-esteem, you can become that magnet for toxic relationships, because you don't know your value. And when you're dealing with someone that's abusive, a narcissist, a toxic individual, guess what? They pick up on that. And so therefore, just as bullies at school would pick on the one they felt was not going to fight back, all right, this is how these people are as adults. They will misuse, and abuse those who they feel will not fight back, those they feel that they can walk all over, and that will not know their worth to know that they deserve better. All right, so when you're dealing with some common signs of low self-esteem, is we're going to talk about for us a lack of confidence. Number one, a lack of confidence. When you have low self-esteem, you will not be confident in being able to do anything. And so this contributes to your self-esteem. If you're a person, you have low self-esteem, that means that you're not confident in your abilities. You're not confident to manage situations. You're not confident enough to navigate in life. You feel as if others may know more or be better qualified than you. You don't trust yourself to make decisions in life. You feel that everyone else may know more, or they may be better. And we all have somebody that may be better at doing something than we are, but it doesn't mean that that person is more qualified or better than you. Let me use an example. On my social media, I have a lot of different people that I have different platforms that, different social media platforms that I'm on, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Gab, different social media platforms. But anyway, the other day, someone had private messaged me. And so this person, it was due to a post that I had put on social media. And this person decides to private message me. And so they wanted to pretty much brag about their IQ. Now, obviously, they hadn't even read my profile and know my background or anything. And one thing I would tell people, before you start running off at your mouth, running your mouth off, read somebody's profile so you won't sound like an idiot, okay? So anyway, this person decides to brag about his IQ, and he thinks that human beings are pretty much dull individuals, and he has a high IQ, and he just spouting off, basically bragging about himself, even though he mentions, well, even though I'm not bragging about myself, but anytime you got to throw in that you have this so-called high IQ, and basically he was putting other people down that he did not feel was as intelligent as he was, and I believe myself was included in that. And so what I did was, which I normally don't do, every now and then if I have to check somebody, but I let him know in a kind way that while he's bragging about his IQ, don't get me wrong, I say, you know what, I'm an educated person. I have 4 degrees. I'm working on my 5th. One of those degrees is a doctorate, and I'm working on my 2nd doctorate right now. But I told him that, despite all the degrees, knowledge is nothing if you don't have God to give you the wisdom as to how to use it. So with that being said, the reason I use that is because if I had been a person that was with low self-esteem, I would have allowed his bragging of his IQ to make me feel intimidated. But because I no longer have low self-esteem. Okay, I'm not that kid I used to be in high school. So because I no longer have that, I'm able to rebut his IQ status and say, you know what, you may have what you think is a high IQ. I don't know whether he does or doesn't. But the thing is that you're not talking to someone who is not well versed, someone who is not educated, and someone who is basically not confident in who they are. So you have to have confidence in who you are as an individual, because when you don't have that confidence, people will try to use and abuse that weakness, and therefore they will take advantage of you. And even if you say, you know what, I'm working on my confidence, I don't have it, okay, that's fine. It's one step at a time. But the thing is that don't allow, even while you're in the process of trying to gain or build that confidence, do not allow people to put you down and make you feel as if you are nothing. And sometimes people, even though they will say, oh, I'm not putting you down, because one of the things I forgot to mention was that he was like, I'm not trying to talk down to you. And I had to let him know, you're not talking down to me, because I'm not down. All right. Okay. So that it wasn't arrogance on my part. It's just saying, who do you think you are? You're not talking down to me at all, because we're on the same level. All right. And I consider myself, I don't know anything about his IQ or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, I don't care if you're the most genius in the world. I'm still of importance. I still can have a conversation, an intellectual conversation, because I know who I am and I know my worth. And regardless of how much you think you know better than I am. Therefore, what I am saying is that you have to know your worth. You have to know that you can be confident. And one thing, let me just say this: when it comes to confidence and high self-esteem, there are things that you're going to be great at, and there are things you're not going to be great at. Everyone is not good at everything. All right, there is something that a person is not good at. For example, I'm not good at putting things together when it comes to building for its bookcases. Okay, I have some bookcases that I have gotten and I've put them together. All right. However, that's not my forte. I'm not going to tell you that if you try to move it, it won't fall down. Okay, that is not my forte. All right. However, I am an excellent cook. All right, I can't say I can cook every single thing, but I'm a great cook. I can sew. I'm not gonna say I'm the seamstress of all, but I can sew. There are things that I'm confident in my abilities in, and there's things that I'm not so great at. And guess what? It's okay. Everyone's not gonna be good at everything. However, does that make me less of a person because I'm not great at everything? No, I'm not good at math, but I have a doctorate degree. Okay, I did not go to be a mathematician. I stayed in my own lane. The thing is, be confident in your own lane. That's okay. Be confident in your own lane. When we stop trying to compare ourselves to others, then you can gain the confidence that you need. If you're constantly trying to compare yourself to this one and that one, guess what? You're never going to be confident in the things that you can do. I'm okay with not being the best at everything. For example, this is my podcast. This may not be for everyone. That some people might not like my style. I'm okay with that. Guess what? Go get you a podcast and you do it. Okay? But for those who love to listen to me talk, I value that. I appreciate that. And for those who don't, hey, blessings to you. Move on to someone who you may benefit from, who may be able to help you. I'm confident in who I am as I am. Not saying that there's not things that I don't have room to grow in. We all have areas to grow in. But remember, we all have areas to grow in. And most of the time, the people that are putting you down are putting you down because guess what? They don't have the self-esteem that they need to be confident in their own lives. All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in just a moment.
I used to think that I could not go on, and life was nothing but an awful song. But now I know the meaning of true love. Yeah. I'm leaning on the everlasting arms. If I can see it, then I can do it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. Yolanda, won't you sing the song?
See, I was on the verge of breaking down. Sometimes the silence can seem so loud. There are miracles in life I must achieve, yeah. But first it's got to start inside of me. Oh, if I can see it, then I can do it. If I just believe it, then there's nothing to it. I believe
can fly. And you have to believe in yourself. And that's the thing. Sometimes we tend to want the validation of others. But you know what? You're not going to always get that validation from other people. And so, therefore, you have to validate yourself. Now, we all have our limitations with things that we can't do. That's every single person. Even that person that you may aspire to want to be like, that person has limitations. Okay, that person can't do every single thing. Again, I'm a doctor of ministry and with pastoral counseling, okay, but I'm not a doctor or MD. All right, that's not my forte. Okay, I don't want to be picking at cells and surgeries and blood, and I definitely don't want to give anybody any medicine because I'm not good at math. Okay, I've been have you crossing over to the other side. All right. Okay, so you have to know your limitations. Nursing and all that, not for me. But kudos to those who can do that. But no, I chose to be a doctor in a different area. Not that I'm giving people medicine. All right. However, it is so important to know your worth. Another thing, when you are dealing with low self-esteem, you sometimes lack of control. You feel that you have little control over your life and what happens to it, and this can come from you having this feeling that you don't have any abilities, or you're not able to change your circumstances. You have control over things more than you think you do. All right. Now, you can't control every situation. That is true. Only God is in control of everything. However, there's things that you can control, which is how you feel about yourself. You can work on those things that you might feel that you need to work on, but don't compare yourself to other people. All right. So when you feel powerless, then you feel as if you're not able to fix your situation, which moves or it can add to your sense of low self-esteem. You are more powerful than what you give yourself credit for. Another thing that adds to low self-esteem is having a negative social comparison. You are comparing yourself to other people, which can damage your self-esteem. Again, it's okay to admire people. It's okay to, give them their credit for what they do. However, everyone is not good with everything. Even the person that you feel like, oh, they're so good at this and they're so good at that. Guess what? It's something they're not good at. All right? And it may be an area where you excel at. We often try to get in other lanes that we're not meant to drive. Okay, so when you're going down the street, you're on the highway. We know that it's certain side of the road that we're to drive on. Okay, in the United States, we drive on certain sides, even when it comes to the car. All right, so in some films I've seen where the driver is on the left side of the vehicle. In other countries, they drive on the right side of the vehicle, right? So it depending on where you're at. The thing is to be comfortable in your own lane. Be comfortable in your own lane. We're not the jack of all trades, all right? And you may be a jack of all trades and a master at none. The thing is that whatever gifts and abilities that you have been given, you have to find out what those gifts are, even if it's whatever it is. Be comfortable in your own lane. Don't try to compare yourself to somebody else. And that plays into a lot of people's self-esteem, is that we compare ourselves to other people. And we don't have to. Everyone's good at something and everyone's not good at something. Know what you're good at and be happy with you. Another thing is, those that have low self-esteem, sometimes they have problems asking for what they need. Let me just say this: if you want to better yourself at something, you're gonna have to not be prideful, okay, and not feel embarrassed. Oh, so sometimes it's not pride; it's just embarrassment, and ask people for what you need. For example, okay, if I was taking a class in algebra, let me just say this: I would have to get a tutor. I would have to get some help. All right, I would. I would have to get help because that's not something that I'm good at. When it comes to the math calculations or whatever, now money, I can count money, okay? But the thing is that there's just certain things that I can't do. So if I was taking classes, and when I was an undergrad and had to take math classes, guess what? I had to get help. All right, so when you know that you need help in an area, or even if you want to better yourself, you say, okay, I'm good at this, or I feel like I can do this well, then you have to get help. For example, and I'm using myself as an example because I want you all to know that there are times, even though I have a doctorate degree, there's times in life, and even now, that I have to ask for help. There's things that, like, if I need to know how to put something together, I got to go on YouTube. Or if there was a time some years ago when I used to mime. For those who know about miming, I used to mime at my church. But before I ever started miming, I had to learn. I had to have someone to teach me, and I had a great teacher, and he taught me how to mime. And then after he left, I wound up being the leader of the mime team when he left. And so I had to learn. So, and then even those in leadership, you have to learn how to lead. Because I look back now, there were a lot of mistakes I made. Even with leading. And I look at now, it's like, whoa, I could have did so much better. But life is a learning lesson. All right. And you learn. If you go through life and you never learn anything, then you're going to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. And we all have to learn. So there's nothing wrong with asking for help. You say, well, you know what, I don't know this. And sometimes people will try to make you feel dumb because you ask a question. And the thing is that I remember when I was in school, teachers used to say the only dumb question is the one you don't ask. All right. So, and I do that. I feel that if I need help, then I'm going to ask. If you go to the doctor and you're not getting what you need from that doctor, then guess what? If that doctor doesn't want to explain things to you, then you get you another doctor that will take the time and explain things to you. Ask for what you need. You can't. So people won't know that there's an issue, and a lot of times people are willing to help, but you got to let them know that you need the help. Another thing, when you're dealing with low self-esteem, you have worry, and you have self-doubt. You worry about making the wrong choices. You're not confident in your choices, and this is often part of when you're in an abusive relationship, where that individual that you may have been in a relationship with made you feel as if you were not competent enough to make choices on your own. So therefore you were scared that you might make the wrong decision because you were in this abusive relationship. And this is another reason why it's so important to be careful of who you get into a relationship with, so they will not diminish your self-esteem. If someone is not there to build you up, then you definitely don't need them to tear you down. Another thing, when you have low self-esteem, people often have trouble with accepting positive feedback. You feel you would get to the point that you feel like, oh, well, if someone gives you a compliment, that, oh, well, what they're giving me a compliment for, oh, there's nothing good about me. And it's dealing with yourself. So if someone says, oh, you look nice today, if you have low self-esteem, you will have trouble receiving that because you don't feel that you look nice. So why would someone else tell me I look nice? And so you're going to doubt that individual. You're like, oh, they must be something wrong with them because there's nothing nice about myself. You will have trouble accepting compliments because you don't feel it about yourself. A million people can say you're beautiful, but if you don't feel that you're beautiful, then guess what? You're going to have trouble receiving it. and believe in it. Which leads me into our next one is negative self-talk. Negative self-talk. If you're always downing yourself, you're always finding fault in yourself, you're always saying I'm ugly, or I'm fat, or I'm dumb, or I'm this, I'm that, I'll never be, I'll never accomplish, or whatever the case may be, then you're gonna fulfill those prophecies that you're giving to yourself, okay? Because you're actually giving yourself prophecies saying that I will never amount to anything, and therefore you're gonna fulfill that prophecy that you have given to yourself. It doesn't matter what other people are saying you can't do. If you're telling yourself that you can't do it, then guess what? You won't do it. Negative self-talk is one of your worst enemies. But it doesn't matter what other people are saying about you. If you're saying it to yourself, if you come in agreement with it yourself, you're coming into agreement with what someone else has said about you, and you're saying that to yourself repetitiously, then guess what? You will fulfill it, and you will not accomplish, because you're telling yourself that very thing. Get out of the negative self-talk. Another thing that people with low self-esteem is they have a fear of failure. You can't succeed in life if you fear failing. We all have failed at something. Rather it was a relationship. If you might say, okay, I failed at the relationship, all right? And some of it was a blessing. When the failure was a blessing. Okay? But the thing is that if you fear that you're gonna fail, then you would never give yourself a chance to succeed. When I started my master's program, the first master's that I have, and that first master's is a Master of Science in Management with an emphasis in human resources, okay, and that was from Purdue. So when I first started, I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to make it. I remember somebody years ago had told me, oh, you won't be able to get a this was supposed to be a friend. Oh, you're not gonna be able to get a or either they told me I wouldn't be able to pass a GRE or something like that. And I was surprised that they told me I couldn't do it. But you know what the thing is I did. All right, I did. And not only do I have one master's degree, I have 2 master's degrees, okay, and then the doctorate. So if you believe what someone else says to you that you can't, and you tell yourself that, and you're afraid of failing, then you would never know if you can succeed. How do you know you won't be the one to succeed unless you try it? I'm the first one in my immediate family, not extended family, but immediate family to finish college. I'm the first one to go for my postgraduate degree in my immediate family. In my immediate family, I'm the first one to obtain a doctorate degree. But if I had let anyone, no one did, but for us with that. But if I had let someone tell me, oh well, you're gonna just stay at the undergrad level, because guess what? Nobody else in your family has surpassed that, so therefore you won't have a chance of doing it either. If you listen to someone, if they told you that, then guess what? I wouldn't be right now, with the help of God, being able to say that this is what He helped me to accomplish. However, even though I may have been leery about if I can do this, guess what? It's done. All right? It's done. God helped me to do it. So if you have a fear of failure, you will never know if you can achieve it. Last semester, I was taking some classes. Actually, I just completed taking advanced Hebrew and Greek. And I took them both at the same time. Now, I won't recommend anybody do that, but but at first I was like, okay, what if I don't succeed? But then at the same time, the other side of me was saying, well, what if you do? Well, thank God I did. I got an A in the Greek, the advanced Greek, and I got a B in the advanced Hebrew. But if I had allowed fear of failure to prevent me from doing that, then guess what? I wouldn't have made it. Now, would I recommend somebody do that? Not really. But hey, if you feel that you can do it, then guess what? do it. Don't let anyone stop you. People, you can take advice from people, and that's good to take advice, sound advice, and let them give you reasons that, I would tell someone it's hard. Both of these languages are not easy languages to learn, so it's a challenge. And therefore, if you don't have the time to put into it, or you feel that you can only handle one at a time, based upon your study habits or whatever the case may be, then you might not want to do it. And that would be the advice that I would give someone. However, at the same time, that person has to make the decision. You know what? I can handle it. I'll listen to the sound advice, but I think I can go for it. Then go for it. Don't have a fear of failure. You will only fail if you never try. All right, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Ooh, oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I'm held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity. Ooh, oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I'm held when I am falling short. When I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity. Ooh, oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I'm held when I am falling short. When I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. Oh, I believe. Taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your feet. You'll have every failure, God. You'll have every victory. Ooh, oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. You say I'm held when I am falling short. When I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours.
have to believe in yourself. When it comes to low self-esteem, people that have low self-esteem, they have a poor outlook on life, their lives, their abilities. They feel hopeless. They feel that they will not have any positive changes within themselves or can make a difference with others, and so sometimes they self-sabotage. And it might be something that you could do, but then you find yourself not doing it, not completing, not going as far as you could, because you have self-sabotaged yourself due to the feelings that you have about yourself. There's a saying that we can be our own worst enemy, and that is true. You may not even have someone that is telling you that you can't do these things in the present, but you might be remembering things that someone may have said to you in the past, or you might be the one that's saying it to yourself. And so therefore you have become your own worst enemy and self-sabotage your own success. Be mindful of that. If you tell yourself and you're believing and you're not going forward and achieving your dreams and goals because you are self-sabotaging it, then guess what? You will never achieve it until you believe that you can. Another thing is lack of boundaries, the ability to set boundaries in life. Those that deal with low self-esteem have trouble with setting boundaries with others because you fear that someone's not going to like you, they're not going to value you, they're not going to appreciate you, or they're going to talk about you, or they may try to make you feel guilty. You have the right to set boundaries. You also have the right to, hey, if people can't treat you right, you have the right to say, you know what, then you're not going to be a part of my life because I deserve better. But guess what? You have to know and you have to feel that you deserve better. And when you are able to say that I deserve better and stop trying to please others, then guess what? You will go a long way in achieving your dreams, your goals, reaffirming or reestablishing your values, and therefore you will not be dealing with the things that you may be dealing with now for as low self-esteem. Again, people that are in abusive relationships, a lot of it has to do with low self-esteem, not understanding your worth. So what are some things that you can do? We're going to run through these quickly. Is practice self-care. Make sure you take care of yourself. Sometimes you have to say no to others in order to say yes to you. Get you some sleep. If you need to eat a little bit healthier, exercise, take care of you. Get that time that you need in order to de-stress and be able to regulate your own emotions. Number 2, build positive relationships. If you are in a relationship that is not positive, make sure you get people around you that will that contribute to your self-esteem and your self-worth. Spend less time with the negative people and spend more time with those that will help you build that confidence. Number 3, work on a growth mindset. That means that you have to work on telling yourself that I can do it, I will do it, I can achieve it, despite whatever's coming in your head saying no you can't. You have to say like that train. I forget the name of that train that when we were kids, and it was a train that we would read, and the train would say yes I can, yes I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, and then you have to say to yourself and then turn it into yes I can, yes I can, yes I can, yes I can. All right. Number 4, challenge yourself. You may say, you know what, I'm not sure if I can do this, but you know what, I'm going to challenge myself to doing something that I haven't done before. Whether I succeed or not, I'm going to challenge myself anyway. The only failure is something that you don't even try. So challenge yourself to do more. Last but not least, practice self-affirmations. Tell yourself things. See, when you repeat things to yourself, then you'll start believing it. Say that I choose to be confident. I choose to be confident in my abilities. I choose to value myself. I choose to trust myself and not limit my abilities. In other words, you have to do what we call a control alt delete. When you have that computer and it gets to acting a little strange, and sometimes you have to do a control alt delete in order to, if it gets stuck, because some of you may be stuck in the mindset of I can't, then you have to do a control alt delete and say, yes, I can. Reboot your mental system to let yourself know that I can do all things, as the Bible says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And yes, you can. Before we close out today, as always, I love this verse from Psalms 139, verse 14. And it says, I praise you because I am fearfully and I am wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. We as Christians know that God didn't make any junk, okay? We are fearfully and we are wonderfully made. His works are wonderful. That means that he made you. You are wonderful. And as the psalmist said, I know that full well. You have to know it. You have to believe it. You have to be confident in it. And tell yourself when those negative thoughts come into your mind, when that toxic individual wants to say something to you, when that narcissist wants to take advantage of you, you have to know your worth and say, I am fearfully, I am wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. Speaking of God, what he did in you. And you have to tell yourself, I know this full well. All right, we are up out of here. I pray that today's podcast has been a blessing to you and that you will know your feelings, they do matter. This is Dr. K.O. Rich with Narc Abuse No More, helping you to admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse. Until next time.